The question was there any evidence of private contractors being involved in intelligence work around the Boston bombing? There is. I mean, there were all those people. I'm sure you've seen this. It's all over the internet. All these guys with the black hats and black backpacks. And as soon as the bombs went off, they immediately were sort of taking control of the scene. It's quite astonishing that a year later it has never been firmly established who those people are. We are told that some of them were in insignia for a contractor called Kraft International. We've looked at that. We're continuing to look at that. But it's quite amazing in this country that, I mean, you would think that, do you remember that video of that night they had arrested a young man who looks quite a bit like Tamerlan Tsarnaev? They had him stripped naked. They had him on the ground, and then you see them bundling him into a squad car. You know, their mother said that was her son.
Tamerlan himself has also been put, from anonymous sources, say, on a CIA database of people to be monitored, which is added also to previous investigations by the FBI, so it raises further questions as to why these two were not picked up earlier.
Indeed, you talk about previous investigations by the FBI. It was 2 years ago that Russian officials told the FBI about Tamerlan, but apparently he still managed to slip under the radar. Artist Tom Barton, thank you.
Hello, is this Merit Zarnaev?
Yes, speaking.
Hi, my name is David Knight. I'm with Infowars.com. It's Alex Jones's operation. Have you heard of us?
Yes, I've heard of you. Yes.
And we would very much like to do an interview with you. Would that be possible?
Since I have seen the material that you presented for the public before about these bombings, even before the names of our boys were put out there, I was following you, from the very beginning.
Okay.
I don't know. I have trust in that information. I have trust in you, and I would like to have my word said.
Good.
Especially in the part when the guy that was taken into custody by police, then given over to FBI. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
That clip.
Yes.
A naked guy.
Yes.
I have to publicly state that I confirm and identify this person as my nephew, Tamerlan Tsarnaev.
The police had, from multitudes of agencies, all had their weapons drawn, pointing at a vehicle that we could not see from our vantage point. They were screaming for somebody to put his hands up, to get out of the car. At some point, he did do that, because then we could tell that the officers were relaxing. We still couldn't see the car or the suspect. Then at some point, they brought him from his vehicle to a police car. He was completely naked. He'd been, during the confrontation, I did hear him, and I believe you may be able to hear this on the tape we shot. They were ordering him to remove all his clothes, including his underwear. It was clear.
And then later, supposedly, he dies in a shootout. I mean, the authorities were almost never questioned about this, even though it was on Fox and all the channels. You could see, if you go online, you can still watch this thing. Just type in, arrest and Boston bombing, April 15. It's amazing. How could that not be interesting to the New York Times and the Seattle Times and the Boston Globe, that they're not interested in a man who looks exactly like the terrorist was in custody? And then, and so somebody did ask him, and you know what they said? They said, oh, yeah, that was another guy. Well, who was that, please? If you arrested somebody, we ought to be able to know who was arrested. It's just staggering. Rich Lang, I think, had a question. Yeah, the question was, have we done anything on this rash of suicides of people in the financial industry? Very interested in that. Our problem is we're small, and we're already way overextended. We get, I cannot tell you how many things every day with people saying, you really need to look into this thing, or I'm being harassed, or whatever it is, and we don't have the capacity. So we're trying to, I don't want to talk about money, the filthy lucre, but we need more money so we can hire more people and get on these things. That story is very high on my list, because those are people at all these big banks who supposedly were aware of and were privy to, billion-dollar scams affecting all of us. So obviously, if all of these people suddenly, go ill or jump out of windows, we ought to take a look at that. Again, the media is completely AWOL, not doing anything. It's just bloggers who bring that stuff